السلام عليكم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم. I only intend to speak to you for a couple of minutes. A few years ago, I was in Los Angeles at a hotel called Doubletree. And every room had a card that said, "When you care, chose." And I've come to the conclusion that when you don't care, chose. Right now, the world is in need of guidance. Our country is in need of guidance. And the question before us is, what are we going to do about it? You know, the Prophet ﷺ, the Messenger of Allah, when he moved to Medina, he noticed that the people were pollinating date palms. And they asked him, "Why do you do that?" They said, "Because we get a better crop." He said, "Maybe it's better you don't do it." He didn't say don't do it. He said, "Maybe it's better." But because of their respect for him, he stopped. And you know what? The crops diminished. And they said, "Rasulullah, you see, this is what we're saying." And listen to what our Prophet said, alayhi salatu wasalam. Every president, every prime minister, every general should hear what the Prophet said. He said, "إِذَا أَمَرْتُكُم بِشَيْءٍ مِنْ دِينِكُمْ فَخُذُوا بِهِ." When I order you to do something of your religion, you do it. وَإِذَا أَمَرْتُكُم بِشَيْءٍ مِنْ رَأْيِي فَإِنَّمَا أَنَا بَشَرٌ. And when I tell you to do something of my personal opinion, I'm only a human being. I wish that our leadership could understand that and respect that. My talk tonight is short. I want to tell you an experience that I had. And we're called upon to call to the people with wisdom and good preaching. An experience that I had, I flew from London to Iceland. And I sat in front row 4B. And next to me, a man sitting 4A, first class. And when we took off, after about 10 minutes, the man said to me, "Excuse me, I have to go to the bathroom." So I moved and let him go to the bathroom. And he came back. And 10 minutes later, he said again, "I have to go to the bathroom." And I let him go. Came back. 10 minutes later, I looked at him and said, "You got to go to the bathroom?" He said, "Yes." And he laughed so hard, you could have seen him. And when he came back, because I had enough concern to ask him did he have to go to the bathroom, he engaged me in conversation. He said that he was an agnostic. He said, "I don't deny God, but I can't prove it." He said, "What are you?" I said, "I am a Muslim leader and from New York." He said, "Oh, okay." I said, "Consider what we are flying on, a plane, right?" He said, "Yes." I said, "PLANE. I said, "Is there a pilot?" He said, "Of course." "Passengers?" "Of course." "How many passengers?" "Maybe 500. "How fast is the plane going?" "Maybe 500 miles per hour." I said, "No. Does the plane have food?" He said, "Of course." "Water?" He said, "Yes." Then I said to him, I want you to consider this planet that we're on. Plane, P-L-A-N-E. Planet, P-L-A-N-E-T. This plane, you tell me, is flying 500 miles per hour. This plane called Planet travels 57,000 miles per hour around the sun. You tell me on this plane you got water. This plane called Planet has its own water. You said that this plane has food, but this plane called Planet grows its own food. You know what he said to me? He says, do you have an email address? I said, yes, sir. And every day, I waited for him to email me, and he finally did. A year later, he emailed me again recently. And he said, you know, your prayers must be working. Because things are going well here. I want you to invite you to my home in Iceland. Why do I say that, brothers and sisters? You know me. I preach over and over and over again about dawah. My love is dawah. My love is to invite the people to Islam. Even as I was invited to Islam. While you're here in this conference, I pray Allah the Almighty that He will bless every one of you to get the insight from our leaders, our teachers. And I pray to Allah the Almighty that when you go back home, that you will not forget the people, to bring them this message of hope. As I said tonight, my message is very, very short. Ud'u ila sabil rabbika bil hikmah, call to the way of the Lord with wisdom and beautiful preaching. I close. I asked one of the students, if you had one wish, what would you wish for? He said, Imam, I would wish that me and my family go to Jannah. I said to him, I thought he would say that. Prophet Muhammad ﷺ said all of the prophets was given a special dua that Allah would answer. He said all the prophets rushed to make their dua. He said, I kept mine until Yawm al-Qiyamah. Why? To be a shafa'ah for my ummah. Because he cared for my ummah. Right now, our nation and the world is in desperate need of guidance. May Allah bless every one of us with the knowledge and the wisdom to articulate, to invite the people to Islam. Every year, according to the FBI, 40,000 inmates in prison become Muslim. I have been to 48 states. In every state that I go to, people tell me, the prisoners tell me, Brother Imam Siraj, we got your tapes. I have never put one tape in any prison. How did they get there? How did they become Muslim? Allah bless them, and despite going to prison, Allah bless them to find Islam. One of the greatest Muslim leaders of our modern time, Malcolm X, I'm sure you heard of him, Haji Malik Shabazz. He had his beginning in Islam in prison. So brothers and sisters, I close and ask you to help us do da'wah, to invite the people to Islam. The people are waiting. When you care, it shows. And when you don't care, it shows. Jazakallah khairan. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.